There are few moments in history that sparks the imagination like the last stand of the Spartans at Thermopylae. Thermopylae has been a rallying cry throughout the ages, even being used by the Texans during the Texan Revolution when referring to the last stand at the Alamo. Yet how much truth is there in what we understand as the Battle of Thermopylae? Was the road into Greece really that simple? Why did the Greeks really choose Thermopylae? Were the Spartans really involved in the battle as much as we've been led to believe in modern films? Let us examine the truth of one of the biggest misconceptions of history. In the year 480 BC, a year after the Persian king Xerxes demanded the submission of the Greek city-states via gifts of earth and water, the Persian king set out with an army numbering anywhere from 70,000 to just shy 2 million men to avenge his father's defeat at Marathon. Thus began the greatest invasion of the ancient world and one of the most famous defenses in military history. In fact, the battle was originally planned to take place farther north. Due to the urging of the Thessalonian delegation to the Corinth Congress, an alliance of Greek city-states created to face this emergency, 10,000 hoplites were moved into the Vale of Tepes. However, this was abandoned when the king of Macedonia informed them that the whole position could be completely bypassed by the Thermopylae Pass. It was after this that Thermopylae was chosen to defend Greece. In fact, according to the ancient sources, Leonidas, the Spartan king, was actually in favor of withdrawing farther south to the Isthmus of Corinth when he saw how many Persians they were up against, only staying due to the anger of other factions of the army. A rather big misconception is that the Spartans fought basically alone. This arose from such movies as 300 Spartans, which did have other Greeks engaging the Persians when the Spartans were pressed, but not much more, or 300, which makes it out that they did all the fighting by themselves. In fact, the Greeks set up a system to rotate units in and out of the fighting. So indeed, the Spartans weren't involved in every piece of action. Instead, there are many times when Athenians, Thessalonians, Thespians would be the ones instead to be on the front line doing all the fighting. Again, movies are to blame for this lack of knowledge on this famous battle. Actually, the immortals were sent in on the first day, but they were sent in on the second wave after the first wave failed. So indeed, it was a second, just not the second day. Indeed, the path was actually defended by 1,000 Phocians. They, however, were caught off guard by the nighttime march of the immortals on the third day and were scattered by a hail of arrows. The biggest misconception is that the Spartans died alone and friendless. However, 700 Thespians and 300 Thebans stayed behind, and the ancient sources talk about the Spartans and Thespians actually exchanging their red and white cloaks in symbol of camaraderie. The Greeks attacked, killing many Persians including 2 of Xerxes' half-brothers, and the Thebans surrendered as soon as the battle started going against the Greeks. Leonidas was killed early on in this final attack, and the Greeks were finished off by a volley of arrows. Movies have given us great films about a few men fighting for freedom, but history shows us a clearer and more heroic image of people coming together to face evil.